So everybody dreams about moving to Hawaii until they see the cost. I have a lot of clients moving from the mainland, and one of the very first questions they always ask me is, what's the cost of living here in Hawaii? So I decided to make a video about the real cost of living in Hawaii. I hope you find this information valuable, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm here to help. You can leave a comment below, or you can call me, text me, email me. My contact info is in the description below. So before I tell you my perspective from the real cost of living in Hawaii, let me introduce myself. If you've never met me and this is your first time on my channel, I'm Bessie and I'm a realtor here in Hawaii, and I moved to Hawaii years ago. And when I moved here, my very first question was how people afford to eat. I was shocked. I went to Foodland and I was looking at the prices and I couldn't believe the price of tomatoes, for example, the price of milk. And I was shocked. But after living here for so many years, I guess I'm okay with paying $9 for eggs. So that's why I decided this could be a valuable information to share from my point of view and my perspective, from a person who just came to Hawaii years ago without knowing anything about Hawaii or anything about real estate. So now let's dive into the video. The number one expense is housing. And everybody knows real estate in Hawaii is expensive. And if you decide to move into Hawaii, if you've never been to the island, and if you want to rent out first and explore your options, explore the neighborhoods, be prepared to pay high rent. And the rent is also different in different neighborhoods. For example, just to give you a comparison, in Waikiki, for a one-bedroom apartment, be prepared to spend around $2,400. And in Waikiki, most of the condos are older, built in the 60s and 70s. So if you want to move to a nicer building that's newer built with better amenities, be prepared to spend more than that. For example, rents can go up to $4,000 in Waikiki. Another area that is very close to downtown Honolulu and it's very trendy, it's Kakaako. Everything is in Kakaako. Everything is walking distance, a lot of shopping, groceries, retail, restaurants. So you don't have to go too far if you want to stay in this neighborhood. Also, Moana Beach Park is nearby. So very convenient location, very trendy neighborhood. But in Ward Village, which is the trendiest neighborhood in Kakaako, be prepared to spend for a one-bedroom apartment around $3,600 a month. And of course, rent can go up to $7,000. Depends on how luxurious of the building is, the amenities, and the price point. You decide to move further away from town, so go around Ewa and Kapolei, the rent there is significantly less. So for example, in Kapolei, you can probably pay $2,100 for one bedroom apartment. So something to consider with the rent, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the buildings are, for example, in Waikiki older. If you move to Kapolei and further away, they could be newer buildings. So also the price of the rent and the price of real estate in general depends on how old the building is, the amenities, the structure, a lot of other factors. And if you decide to buy a condominium in Waikiki, be prepared to spend approximately $502,000. And when I say approximately, this is the median sales price based on MLS data. Some of the units don't come with parking, so if they don't come with parking, of course the price will be lower. And of course I'm talking about fee simple units. You can find a leasehold that's one bedroom probably for $80,000, for example. In Kakaako, Ala Moana area, the price of real estate is significantly higher. Be prepared to spend for one bedroom apartment approximately around $800,000. And this data, it's all based on MLS data. These are the median prices for 2025. I, of course, can provide more data about different neighborhoods, so feel free to reach out. I'm just giving you the overall picture of the real estate and the prices here on Oahu. So if there is a certain neighborhood that you're interested in, definitely let me know and I'll be glad to share more data. Price also differs if you're purchasing a condo or a single family home. And this is MLS data for 2025. Median sales price for condos on the island of Oahu is $507,250. And median price of single family home on the island of Oahu for 2025 was $1,139,000. So you can see the difference between the condominium and the single family home. And something to keep in mind, all the condominiums here in Hawaii, they come with a monthly maintenance fee or HOA fee. And that's normal because you pay for the upkeep, you pay for security, pay for the common area maintenance, you pay to use the recreational area. And if something happens with the building, like a spalling, painting, plumbing, of course, that's why you pay maintenance fee, because some of the money goes towards reserves. Another high cost of living here in Hawaii is groceries, and I already mentioned that for me that was the number one shocker coming to Hawaii. It wasn't real estate because we lived close to the base, and my boyfriend at that time, he was in the military, so the military paid for our housing allowance. So the housing didn't seem to be an issue for me at that time. It was the groceries. There are farmers markets where you can buy local produce, and there is Foodland Farms where they cater to selling local produce. And their local produce, sometimes it's a little bit pricier, but it's supposed to be better quality. A lot of the groceries are actually imported. Funny fact, the limes, for example, come from Mexico, and some of the tomatoes come from Mexico. And they're not even cheaper, even they come from Mexico. Another high expense of living here in Hawaii is transportation. In 2025, on average, when you go to the gas station, I expect to pay around $4.60 per gallon for gas. And of course, traffic. Traffic in Hawaii is one of the worst in the nation, and especially on H1. H1 highway is the one that connects east with the west. So for example, if you have to work in downtown Honolulu, but you live in Kapolei or Ewa, a 30-minute commute can really turn into an hour or over an hour of traffic, especially if there's accident on the highway. Another expense that I actually never thought about it is the electric bill. And I would say I never thought about it because I didn't grow up in America, so I never paid electric bill on the mainland. My very first electric bill that I pay is here in Hawaii, so I never knew. But I researched it, and in Hawaii, the Hawaiian Electric charges approximately 42 cents per kilowatt for electric. And on the mainland, I didn't know, but that's what Google says, it's approximately 17 to 18 cents of kilowatts. That's a big difference. But I guess a good point about the price of electric is you don't have winters here. So you don't have to run a heater. You have trade winds during summer. A lot of those homes that are older homes, they don't even have AC. So the electric bill, I would say, even though it's high at the end of the month, or for a one-bedroom condo, be prepared to spend around $150 a month. A lot of the houses, for example, in Ewa, and Ewa is a neighborhood where you don't have that much trade winds. It's hotter and drier. In Ewa, a lot of the homes have solar panels. So solar panels definitely help out with reducing the bill. If you like to run AC the whole day and night, maybe look for homes that have solar panels. One thing though, when you're looking for homes with solar panels, just make sure that they are not leased. Or if they are leased, just find out what the terms of the lease are and how much you have to pay. If you like to go out at night, dining out is expensive, especially after COVID. I love Waikiki. I'm in Waikiki almost every day. Pre-COVID, if you go to one of those hotels, a normal cocktail was probably $10, $12. But after COVID, like a normal price is like $20, $25. Well, dining out here is definitely more expensive than most of the cities in the mainland USA. Casual lunch can easily cost $40, $50, and that's including tax and drink and a tip. If you love oceanfront restaurant or steakhouse, be prepared to spend more. One thing I noticed that here in Hawaii, people tend to spend their time in experience. Since Hawaii is a very outdoor place, people here go surfing or go to the beach. Usually during the weekends, family get together, they have barbecues. So dining out is expensive, but Hawaii offers many outdoor options. You don't have to go out every day. What I noticed about Hawaii is Hawaii changes you. At least that's what Hawaii did to me. Before I moved here in Hawaii, I was never an outdoor person. I was never into hiking. And nature is so beautiful that it's tempting and it urges you to go out and explore the mountains and hike. And of course, here is one of the best surf spots on the planet. So if you're into surf, a lot of people move to Hawaii just for surfing. I can't sing and I would never consider going to a karaoke place. But here in Hawaii, a lot of people go to karaoke. I have a lot of Filipino friends and all of them sing. They have beautiful voices. So one of the things that we love doing is going karaoke. So not just dining out is expensive, but also doing some kind of activities, such as swimming with the sharks or parasailing, or going on a boat, going fishing, or a helicopter tour. I personally think everybody should experience those adventures, even though they're pricey. Helicopter tours, for example, are extremely pricey, but they're beautiful because it gives you a different perspective of the island. And the islands are beautiful. I remember years ago, I did a helicopter tours in Kauai, and it was pouring rain, and we saw thousands of waterfalls. So it was worth it. So how did you enjoy this video? How did you enjoy the walking tour with me? Let me know. I would like to hear your feedback. It's important to me. I want to make my content relevant to you. I want you to enjoy Hawaii the way it is. Not the postcard version, not the brochure version, but just the real Hawaii. And of course, if you're planning to move to Hawaii, let me know, reach out. I'll be glad to help. Don't navigate the real estate alone. It could be challenging. And please watch my next video about the different neighborhoods where to live in Hawaii. Thank you for connecting with me and have a beautiful day.